2025 is coming, and that's the year when Disney Parks is likely to be surpassed by Universal Studios, and Disney takes second place in the overall theme park industry for the first time since the 1950s. We'll explain it right now. And good morning, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are on this beautiful blue marble we call Earth. Perhaps it's night, perhaps it's evening, perhaps it's afternoon. Wherever you are, we hope it's beautiful. And Vash Sky joins us on this spaceship Earth. Vash, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. Just looking over these numbers right here as we project that, well, Universal's really nipping on Disney's heels. Maybe
that's right, and about to dominate Disney, not just nip at their heels. But Vash, it's a fascinating thing to watch Disney abdicate and retreat and essentially just say, here you go, here's first place, enjoy it, Universal. Disney, of course, has been the top dog in theme parks ever since Walt Disney himself started Disneyland. Now that looks to end. Let's go to the article and show you all what we're talking about here. This came out March 13th, 2023. It was a warning for Disney from, I suppose, the financial institutions. And this is from the Motley Fool. The author is Rick Munarriz. Disney World is going to have its hands full in 2025. Now, they did not know when they released this article just how much Universal was about to bring, but here's what they thought. Back in March 13th, of course, 2023. Comcast Universal Studios Hollywood opened Super Nintendo World on February 12th, 2023, the second of four planned lands across its global collection of theme parks. Universal Orlando is going to get the same thing in Epic Universe 2025. Disney World cannot rest on its recent laurels. It needs to make sure it's ready to face off against what should be a stronger rival in 2 years. And I'm here to tell you, I don't think it's just stronger as in, oh, they're stronger compared to what they were years ago, that being Universal. I think it's talking about stronger than Disney World. And this article was basically saying, hey, Disney, your old strategy not working. Let's go to today, Vash. This out of CNBC by Kevin Williams. It's not exactly today. It's a few days ago, Saturday to be exact. The future of the American amusement park in a Disney Universal-dominated world of thrills. Well, we're going to tell you why it should be Universal, Disney. Take a look at this. Under the key points, in October, Disney stated it plans to invest roughly $60 billion in its parks division over the next decade. Then, point number 2, Universal said in August it would be investing $17 billion in its Florida theme parks over the next 10 years. Let me explainify what's going on in these two statements, because it looks like Universal is way behind when in fact they're way ahead. So let's explain this out, and then I want to hand it to you, Vash, to talk us through everything else. So Disney, when it says its parks division is getting $60 billion over the next decade, that parks division is Disney Parks and Experiences. It's not just parks. It's also cruise lines. It's also more than that. And that $60 billion is going to be divided amongst the cruise lines, 12 theme parks, the entire 40 square miles of Walt Disney World Resort. That means hotels and all of that. It I assume includes potential infrastructure upgrades at Disneyland, etc. So $60 billion does not go too far when you consider 10 years, 12 theme parks, and much, much more. And really, I mean, the cruise lines are a big part of this.
Huge.
Universal says $17 billion in its Florida theme parks, just the Florida theme parks. How many of those are there? Well, there's about to be 3 plus a water park over the next 10 years. Why is that such a big deal? Well, because they just built a park. That's what it's talking about, right? So once Epic Universe is done, they're going to spend $17 billion more over the next 10 years. And that should be to satisfy getting the Zelda expansion up, the Pokemon expansion up, all of these things that they're doing. And of course, they are building theme park after theme park all over the world.
But that's
we're not going to really get into the Six Flags and Cedar Fair situation in this video today. But Vash, walk us through, why is it that Universal, given those numbers, why are they dominating so over Disney? What do the folks need to know about that?
Well, I mean, per park, it's a really interesting metric, but $17 billion a year for what the resort has in Florida between,
Right, so
like you said,
$1.7 billion every year for 10 years, 3 theme parks, 1 water park.
And if I remember correctly, Oh, wasn't that what Bob Iger committed to for all of Walt Disney World and the 40,000 hotel rooms that they have to keep continually investing in? And their 4 parks and their 2 water parks, $17 billion
retail
was
space and a giant campground. We want to keep going, and a boardwalk and a sports complex. Because what folks need to know is these things cost money just for the upkeep.
Correct. Hotel rooms, absolutely. When you consider that, you have to transform rooms every 10 years or so. You got to do a whole bunch of maintenance when it comes to the operation of these theme parks and so forth. It takes a lot of money. But $17 billion for what Universal is investing in, that is a massive figure. And here's the thing, too. They're not just, placated by just, status quo. We're going to build this new theme park and that's it. No. They're building now 3 hotels that we obviously know. The Stella Nova, the Terra Nova, the, what is it?
Helios.
Stella Luna and the Helios Hotel, adding 2,000 rooms to their already about 9,000 rooms. So we've got 11,000 rooms that are soon going to be on property, and they're going to build the entire corridor out between Epic Universe and Universal Studios Florida proper.
Those Vash probably aren't included in this $17 billion because they're going to open, we believe, January 2025. So we think this $17 billion is in excess to that. Vash, there's going to be some out there, they're going to say, well, here you go again, You're pro-Universal Studios, you're negative Disney World, every single video. So, Vash, let's play a game, and let's break this down pragmatically for the folks at home who are keeping score.
Sure.
Because, we're deep into the numbers. Let's make it where everybody understands. When I'm looking at Universal Studios for the next 10 years, I see Zelda, I see Pokemon, I see Super Nintendo World with expansions, I see How to Train Your Dragon. I'm just talking about new things coming, okay?
Yeah, Potter 2.0, by the way.
What's coming to Disney World over the next 10 years that we know of?
Well, we have Tiana's Bayou Adventure. We know that for a fact.
The Bush.
The Bush. We have, what is it? This summer, they're going to have the Country Bear Jamboree 2.0, so...
Right,
that's
they changed
another one
out.
Right there.
They changed out the metal frames and the bears. Okay, switched their songs. What else we got?
Ooh, beyond that, I mean, we Test Track reimagined, right? We might have something for Animal Kingdom.
Maybe
that's about it.
All right, so folks, if you're keeping score, that's it doesn't get... Okay, Vash, let's switch tracks then, all right?
Sure.
You explain to me, because I can't make sense of this. Why is Disney giving up the lead that they've held since the 1950s? Why are they giving it up without any struggle to try to maintain their superiority at all whatsoever? None.
I just think that they have this hubris, this idea that whatever Universal does will always be second to what Disney brings.
Idiocy. They have half a working brain if that's what they think right now.
Well, I think they also think too, it's like, okay, well, if Epic Universe is successful, then we will obviously benefit from those new guests that come down for it. There will be maybe a gravitational shift, but we won't feel it all that much. We'll be very insulated from it. And like you said, it is delusional thinking because it's not just, attendance goes here, attendance goes here. That's not it at all. You really got to think about the first bite of the apple, right? Where guests spend their money or go first, they will be spending more money than where they go second. Disney experienced this back in 2010 when the original Wizarding World opened, and they seem hell-bent on repeating those past mistakes, and it's completely bizarre.
I'm thinking right now, Vash, in North America, Disney Parks, I believe has 8 different parks, and I think that's including the water parks. And Universal Studios in North America has 4 theme parks total, I believe. Universal Studios in 2022 they had 33.4 million visitors. Disney Parks 75 million. I think that in 2025, and this really goes to show just how dramatic of a shift this is. We're going from a situation in 2022, Universal having half the customers as Disney in North America. to a situation where in 2025 with Epic Universe, Universal could pull even, and then that's it. Then they're off to the races. So that's fascinating to me. But I also think Universal could capture number one in Orlando. That's quite the thing to do. It's very difficult for them to do that in California for reasons of geography. But in Orlando with Epic Universe, my gosh. Now, Vash, you had some information that you also wanted to share. If you want to pull that up, is it okay if I display that for you?
Please go ahead. These are the ACOM TEA numbers right here, and this is what Pro is talking about right here when it comes to these attendance estimates, right? And how we know where attendance is shifting and going. And you can see right here, Universal Studios Florida, Universal's Islands of Adventure, right?
All those out in case those numbers are small. We may have viewers who are listening in the car or watching their phone. What are those numbers, Vash?
Well, Islands of Adventure in 2022 was, I believe, 11 million for the entire year, and Universal Studios Florida at Universal Orlando was 10 million for the year. So
21 million approx.
Essentially.
And we're not going to deal with the water park.
I would. It gets tricky with water park. We'll keep
Right,
it with
that's what I'm saying. Leave it off for right now. How does that compare
right.
to the Disney parks then?
Well, Epcot we have 10 million. Animal Kingdom we have 9 million. Disney Hollywood Studios we have 10 million, and then Magic Kingdom we have 17 million. Now I think
Universal
Magic Kingdom.
So Universal is beating every Disney park except for Magic Kingdom, and
Correct.
Epic Universe is the opportunity to make that happen.
I believe so. And when you come to the cumulative attendance for the resorts, I mean, they're right up there. I mean, yeah, okay, maybe they won't have a Magic Kingdom for a little while, right? That absorbs 17 million people. But they're right there. And like I said, they're going to be having 11,000 rooms, about 27% of the revenue generation potential that Disney World does with its 40,000 rooms or whatever. And they are hell-bent and committed to building out not only their hotel infrastructure, but also their theme park infrastructure. They have enough land here to build a fourth if they choose to. And some people are saying that they're committed to doing that as well. We just heard from the president of Comcast, Michael Kavanagh, during the Q4 2023 earnings call.
Report, yep.
Right? He said this about spending here. He said, let me see if I can find it here.
Now this is really important too, and I want to say too, this is kind of unprecedented that we heard about theme parks in this earnings report, because this is really new, and I think it finally caught the attention of Wall Street that, hey, wait a minute. Disney's no longer the king. Go ahead with
Correct.
that quote, please, Vash, if you've got it.
Yes. If we see these projects pencil out for good return, we'd be excited in the years that follow, and I can't predict when, to continue to give the parks and experiences business whatever capital it requires. They're committed. They are. He was addressing the fact that they're going to be slowing spending a little bit because obviously they just got done building a $6 billion park in Epic Universe. But they are committed to allocating whatever capital is necessary in order to take the lead. We just saw $17 billion for the resort at the size and scope that Universal is right now. The same allocation that Bob Iger supposedly committed to during, I believe, the annual report last year, saying $17 billion. I mean, this is unbelievable amounts of money. They are fully committed to turning on that fire hose and really attempt to seek into Disney's market right here. Even Universal Studios Hollywood, Pro, you'd mentioned that before. It was, I believe in 2022, it was 10.9 million visitors. Well, Disney California Adventure was only about the same, right? So even in Hollywood, they are eclipsing
right. And when I say that
Disney's
there's a
parks.
geographical constraint in California, what I'm talking about is it's really hard for them to expand so that they can take on Disneyland proper.
But to beat out Disney California Adventure, I mean, that's pretty impressive.
A huge deal. So, Vash, how many theme parks right now is Universal Studios looking to build around the world? Now, remember, Disney's not looking to build any any theme parks that we're aware of, how many theme parks can you come up with off the top of your head that Universal has already announced or that we're really, really sure they're going to?
Great Britain for sure. Great Britain for sure is going to be one of them. We are still waiting for the status of Port Aventura. However, as we went over before, permits have been filed. Permits have been filed in that area. I'll
watch that one too. We're up to 2. How many more, Vash?
There is word that South Korea might be added to this list.
I've heard that as well.
They're building Frisco.
Okay, so that's 3. And then we've got a Las Vegas experience, not a full theme park, but an experience.
Yes. The Hollywood Horror Nights experience in Vegas. That is correct. It's kind of an all-year, HHN essentially, and it sounds amazing. So that's a brand new market that they're opening up. It basically can be considered like a park at that point. So
let me see if I've got this straight. Disney, their big deal is that they have taken the most popular attraction in the world, and we know that via polling, Splash Mountain. And they've transformed it by covering it in fake flowers. That it looks like they had an explosion at the Hobby Lobby flower aisle. And that's their big deal for the next 10 years. And all that other money that we think is going into DVCs and hotel rooms and yada, yada, yada. Meanwhile, right now, we think Universal is building 4 minimum theme parks, not new rides. And in the theme parks, which already exist, they're investing tremendously, getting at least 3 new major intellectual properties for entire new lands and expansions. Is that fair?
They're already talking about phase 2 for Epic Universe. So they're talking about expanding Potter even beyond what they're already installing right now. You've seen those amazing Parisian facades that they're building right now. We're talking about the potential to expand even Nintendo, even beyond the Donkey Kong, Mario, Yoshi areas, maybe even Luigi's Mansion. Like you said, Zelda, maybe even Lord of the Rings. We don't quite know. Pokemon. I mean, guys, they're going full steam ahead. They're not slowing down here.
So, I guess the takeaway from this video then is, Vash, that for whatever reason, and we really, I don't see a logical reason for this. If I'm a Disney shareholder right now, I'm furious. I'm incensed. The future is that Universal Studios will be the dominant global theme park force, and Disney will be in that second tier slot. And then you're going to have some of the regional singular theme parks. You might think about Dollywood, for example. And then below that, you'll have the Six Flags and the Cedar Parks and, the big coaster kind of places. And we're not disparaging them in the least. But this next 10, 20 years is Universal Studios. It's their time to shine. They're going to take off. And Disney, I don't know why they're not investing, but they're not investing at the level they need to compete. Flat out.
Sorry about that. I do apologize. It might as well be the Disney decade. People remember, they have fond memories of Michael Eisner getting up there and promising all these amazing things for Disney that, frankly, a lot of that didn't transpire. But Universal is actually doing it. It is a Disney decade in current year. It's just not being done by Disney.
We've never seen anything like what Universal's doing.
No.
There's never been a decade when Disney was building 4 theme parks simultaneous all over the world. This is bonkers. And to some degree, it's being paid for by Disney.
Yes. Because
Disney's paying for it because they're buying Hulu. They're buying that last third of Hulu. And we anticipate that although they've already spent something in the order of $8 billion, that once the appraisal is finished, they're going to probably spend a bunch of billion more. We don't want to say exactly, but maybe 15 billion-ish, somewhere in that vicinity, 12 billion to 21 billion. So it's really fascinating to watch what has happened and to watch Bob Iger just be outplayed. And Vash, you've got a thought. Go ahead with that, then I've got one more question for you.
Well, it's the price of doing business right? I did the math on, because somebody brought up blue milk, and I was like, it's a terrible product. And people
they can't even change out drinks that nauseate people at Disney. That's how bad it is. You're right. It's still there.
It's tragic, right? So I did the math.
Had to have the vegan milk that tastes like liquefied Fruity Pebbles. Yay! That's a butterbeer competitor.
Exactly, right? Well, I looked into butterbeer because I just kind of like, hey, what's the price of doing business correctly? And using the metrics that, they have been sparse, but I was able to determine the trajectory of growth and how many of these butterbeers they've actually been selling. And by 2025, they should have sold, by my calculation, $250 million just on butterbeer alone. That's gross revenue. We're talking
That's the number of pounds added to waistlines there, or inches added to waistlines via
exactly
the
right.
butterbeer.
We're talking 40 million butterbeers sold, about 5 million gallons. It's enough to fill the Rivers of America at Disneyland with just butterbeer. That's how much has been sold, and that's one product from one of these places.
One of those strange things about WDW Pro is I often say that butterscotch is better than caramel. And some of you out there say, no, Pro, caramel is the best. Butterscotch sucks. And then you go and you drink your butterbeer like it's going out of style, like you can't get enough of it. Give me more butterbeer. It's liquid butterscotch. You people love it. Vash, one thing we don't love is watching the Disney parks go down. I'm a detractor of modern Disney. There's no hiding that. But I'm a big fan of success, and I would have loved to have watched the Disney parks do well. That's not happening. Whose fault is this? That's your final question, because, I could blame Josh D'Amaro. I could say that he's just terrible at his job. He seems likable. I like his smile. Seems personable. But this is awful. But I don't know if it's him to blame or if it's Bob Iger. I don't know who to blame in this situation. Maybe the board. I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand why they're not competing.
I can't honestly explain it. I mean, look, we just went over the numbers for Disneyland Forward, right? It's like, okay, you have this amazing juggernaut that is Disneyland Resort. You have this gold mine, and it's like, we don't want to produce the carts to get the gold out. It's like, what? Like, what are you doing?
How many more press releases can they do where they release concept art that's blue sky, and then you get concept art, a year later, and it's the same concept art, but they copied and pasted it onto another theme park. And they're like, oh, no, we're moving the Encanto thing over to Animal Kingdom now. Totally blue sky. You're definitely going to get it this time. See you at D23 next year. Like, how many more times can they do this before people are just like, no, we're done?
It's crazy. I mean, I'm talking to people every day. It's like, they better come with the goods at D23 Expo this year. I mean, they better do it, because people are getting furious with just the lack of investment into these things, when quite frankly, they are the things they've been fueling the company and all of its interests for decades now, and they just haven't had proper capital allocation. This is what Nelson Peltz is talking about, but this has been going on for decades. This is beyond Chapek, Josh Giamaro, all the names. This goes back a long, long time. Even in Disneyland Resort's case, we've been living with what?
How much did they spend in Epcot, Vash?
What was that?
How much did they spend in Epcot on this latest quote-unquote overhaul?
What? Probably, all things considered, what, $1.5 billion or something like that?
Okay, we'll go with that number. I think it's a little bit higher, but we'll go with 1.5.
Okay.
What did we get out of that, Vash?
A Harmonious show that is no longer there. Now it's Luminous, so there you go. We got Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. We got, what is it, Cosmic Rewind, and a new entrance plaza. I think that's about it.
I'm not sure they're spending their money wisely. I'll say that.
No.
I think what they and the perfect example of this is, if you go back to the concept art for Tiana's Bayou Adventure,
sure,
that was how that's how they made it palatable that they were going to destroy a tremendously beloved attraction. And then you go to what you get. It's the same thing as Epcot. They show you what you're going to get, and you're like, oh my gosh, we can put up with 4 or 5 years of a construction zone at Epcot. That's amazing. Then what do you get? You get an urban park straight out of SoCal that just looks like any other urban park that you can imagine. The lights are nice on Spaceship Earth, but really, how much more is there that is exciting? I mean, anyway, anywho, I don't want to be too negative, but the decade of dominance for Universal Studios on the way. And for Disney parks, you said people are mad and they're angry and they want to see something out of D23. Somehow this reminds me of what we've watched out of the other divisions of Disney, where with Star Wars, people got mad. Then eventually they got apathetic. And with Marvel, people got mad. And eventually they got apathetic. And with Disney Animation, they were mad. You look at the box office, they're apathetic. I worry that Disney Parks is on that same trajectory. And it's amazing to me that the same poor foresight and leadership at Disney, that it translates in every single domain of the company into the same sort of failure. It doesn't succeed in any setting ever. It destroys it all. So hopefully they can toss out the leadership and get some good people in there. Otherwise, hey, we're just going to go to Universal Studios. So we're still going to have a good time. But if you're a shareholder, you're not. All right, Vash. What a way to end it. I guess we're excited about Mario. Don't worry, folks. We're gonna go ride rides. Vash, when it comes to covering theme parks, there's a channel that stands above all others. That Park Place, the YouTube channel, and you, sir, are the co-anchor. Tell the folks out there what's coming up on That Park Place in the
on That
near
Park
future.
Place. We have daily videos that we are uploading right now. I know we just had our the Country Bear episode that people really got a kick out of. Star Wars Galactic Star Cruise that people really like. So go over and check that out. Also, live streams every Thursday at noon Eastern. Gotta definitely go to those because, man, we have a lot of fun on those. Believe you and me. And I think we will have more opportunity for those as we move forward right here. So for all the news, that should be fun. You got to go to That Park Place. And if you want to, do a deep dive on all things theme parks, we even go in greater depth on Theme Park Universe with Theme Park Wizard right there. So please subscribe to both those.
Now, Vash, I hear that Park Place, despite only having been around for 4 months, maybe 4 months, 5 months, something like that, very short amount of time, is getting ready for a 10K celebration because so many people are subscribing. So that is fantastic. You guys must be doing something very, very right. So thank you for being a part of that, Vash. And I look forward to many more milestones. Folks, you can help us here on this channel, though, as we continue to try to climb. Maybe not as fast as That Park Place. They're just excelsioring over there, if that can be verbified. But folks, you can help us here on this channel as well. Like, share, subscribe, and when you click it, you do stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Ding, 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 hit that bell. And folks, we would love to hear a comment from you. We care about what you think, so drop one down below. Don't let this be two talking heads on YouTube, but rather turn it into a full-blown community dialogue and be a part of it. All right, folks, we got the Pro Show live Tuesdays at noon Eastern. If you're watching this video on Tuesday morning, well, that means you got the Pro Show coming up. So huzzah, huzzah! All right, it's all that in a bag of chips. And folks, we're out for right now because we got to get ready for the show. So wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Floral, it's time for you to walk the plank.
What? Why?
Because you haven't subscribed to WDW Pro yet. Nor bookmark thatparkplace.com on your web browser to get great articles from great contributors.
What?